and we will make sure you have the coverage you need.
At the KSMO studio, it's time for us to sit down with our friends from our Master Gardeners in Salem. We have two. What do we have? How many total Master Gardeners do we have that actually serve the Salem area?
I have two that serves with me that is a Missouri Master Gardener Association.
Okay.
I have Tom, which is a Master Gardener.
Tom Haynes, by gosh.
and
Tom's really quiet and that doesn't
Okay,
happen very often.
but there is
Charlie speaking.
Yeah, I get that.
but there is some of the garden clubs has MGs. There's probably several. I can't tell you what the number was, but there's probably several of them. The establishment of the Master Gardeners in the state of Missouri was 1983. At that time, and it's probably roughly close to 1 million now because we are over 50-some years old. The Master Gardeners are.
Well, this is Charlie Grimm, and he's one of our Master Gardeners that helps take care of our Salem community garden. And that's why we're here today, talk a little bit about our community garden, maybe about becoming a Master Gardener, and also the different things our community garden does. And so, guys, well, first off, welcome. Thanks for coming by and talking to us a little bit about this. Master Gardener's been around since, what, 2009? Was that when it got started?
Master Gardeners have been.
I mean, I'm not Master Gardener. I'm sorry, our community garden.
Our community garden came in 2009.
Okay, very good.
It was called Health. Let's see. It was called Health Activity for people to get out and then to grow something. They would get. As some of the guys as on TV would say, garden athletics or garden romantics or whatever. Well, you get the exercise in.
Well, absolutely. It's a great exercise.
Right.
Anyway, but so it started out more as an not truly just an exercise class, but one that has benefits because you get to eat what you sow.
Right.
And you get to sow what you want to eat. And so it was a choice of your own. You could have lettuce, radishes, tomatoes, whatever you wanted to grow, right?
Right.
Okay, so has any of that changed with our community garden? You can still kind of grow what you want to grow,
You can
right?
still grow whatever you want to grow.
Okay. So back in the day, Charlie, when I started in 2009, our community garden, it was still free, was it not, for your first plot, or did you have to pay?
No, that's still free. Rollins over there is up to $20. Some of the other places are up to $10, $15. But ours,
First plot.
first plot is free.
Okay, so what is a plot at the Salem Community Garden? So for people who want to know.
We have this year, was 10, is that not correct? 10
Right now, you're talking about the raised beds.
raised beds.
25 of them are in right now.
Right. That's in. We've got, and I'm trying to get soil and we're trying to put in the handicap back in, more or less on the deal of it is.
Okay.
Putting it out there by the garden, but on the pavement where somebody in a wheelchair wants to garden, they have the opportunity now, more better. These beds are 24 inches high. They're 8 feet. They're 8 feet long and they're 4 feet wide.
Okay.
Our original beds out there we had was when they had it in wood, made, and that was when I first came on. They were destruct. They were rotten. Tom and I in the high school pulled them all out, and we pulled them all out and got rid of them. We couldn't get nobody to saw us anything without the cost.
Are you supposed to be with them? Oh. You didn't tell me that.
We got dead air.
Well, that's all right. That's not a problem.
But no, we
did
pulled,
not know that, Steph. You're more than welcome to come in. No?
we pulled them out,
Okay.
and we couldn't get nobody to do it. So we went. That's when we went to ground level beds. We went 20 by 4, I believe. And the first year we had everything except for 11 beds that was taken.
Well, That's good.
So what we're trying to do is trying to get the soil in and up the deal. Stephanie is here with us.
Can I put in a plug?
Go
You
ahead.
So
can.
if there's anyone that would like to donate some topsoil, please contact us. And Charlie, they can get a hold of you at what number?
573-368-9902.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure.
Stephanie, what did we find out? Put you right on the spot here. I'm sorry.
Hi, Stephanie from the Dent County Extension.
What did we find out about from MU Extension up there about any raised beds?
I have contacted them and asked about sending more with the next grant cycle that comes through, and we're just waiting to see. So I don't know.
Okay,
I've
that will be
requested 10 more raised beds.
that will be the fall of the year probably, or do you think it'd be earlier than that?
I honestly, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I also asked for some benches, like low-seated benches that instead of being on your knees or bending over, for people who struggle with back issues, that maybe they could get us a few of those as well for
Like-
working around those raised beds. And the
like
raised
me.
beds are handicap accessible, so if somebody's in a wheelchair or needs to be in a chair, they can easily just reach across the bed. It's high enough for that. So we were able to get 10 of those donated last year from. I wish I knew the name of the grant. Jobert Rankin at University of Missouri wrote a grant, and there was lots and lots of things donated all across the state to community gardens. So she's worked on doing this grant. We've had it for a couple of years now. We've been able to secure that for a couple of years, and so they sent 10 beds in 2022. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or was it 23?
No, 20. 22
It
because
was 22.
22.
We put them together last year. We put several of them together. They're not all together yet. We do still need soil for those beds. And then we're hoping to get maybe 10 more of those beds out there. So.
And I have also been looking for the USDA back in 2020 had a urban rural grant came from the Department of Agriculture, USDA. We did not get on that somehow. We did not get accepted. I don't know where it was at, what happened. Never was told what happened. But that would have been, I think that would have been at least 20 beds from them. But we will deal what we've got. We will go with the 8-foot, and then we'll go back with the 4x20s, what we don't have.
So, how many available beds do we have right now that if somebody was interested can sign up for?
Right now we
plots.
have nothing ready to go,
Okay.
but we will be. But the raised beds, we've got what, 5 set out there?
There's
Six.
6 set up raised beds.
6 set up. One is still with nothing in it.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, that's right. Only 5 of those are ready to go. One of
Right.
those does still need soil.
But there'll be 2 that will belong to Stephanie's extension, her teaching part of her class, and that will be the outer 2 going on the south side of the garden.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we've got one that's already spoken for too.
Okay.
Gentleman I told you about.
Okay.
Okay. Because, people, if they wanted to get a plot,
Right.
and we say the first plot is free, they do
Right.
have to contact the extension or contact you,
Contact me.
and then find out, what to do, go about getting everything and finding out which plot is going to be theirs.
Right.
But I would like to also add that not every plot is going to be a raised bed. Most of
No.
them will be traditional, what is it?
Ground.
4x16.
4x20.
4x20 in length, and within that plot, you can plant anything you want. And the one thing I would like to make sure everyone understands, yes, it's called a community garden, but it is not the type of community garden where anybody can come and harvest the things that are grown. You can only harvest what you personally grow. And so, be aware of that. If you plant a 20-foot bed of carrots, that's your 20-foot bed of carriage. You can't walk over to my plot and decide you want my tomatoes without asking me first. So that's the way it goes. Okay, are we working now?
I don't know. We're going to try something here.
Okay. Should I keep on talking?
Keep on talking.
Keep on talking. So I hope everyone caught that. There are some communities where they literally do have community gardens where things are growing and anybody can come in and pick them and go home and enjoy, but that's not the way this community garden is operated. And I'd also like to put out a thank you to the Methodist Church because they are the ones who are donating both the land and the water and the storage space for all the tools that are there. When you come out to community garden, all that's there for you. All you have to bring is your love for gardening, your love for food, love for community, and your effort, you know. And with the community gardeners, master gardeners, there's classes that are put on. Mm-hmm. You can learn about these things. There's people you can ask about, hey, why isn't this working, or what can I do different? Get your questions answered, because we work very closely with Extension, and that's Extension's whole purpose. I love talking about Extension. One, because George Washington Carver, a Missourian, by the way, was kind of the founding idea with his Jessup wagon for Extension. And Extension is to do research, to learn how to do agriculture better, and then to pass it on to Joe Average. And that's the role of Extension. Excuse me for getting on your bandwagon here, but I love Extension, you know, and this is one of the things that Extension helped get this whole thing kicked off. So.
And when we talk about community garden, that's what it's all about, though. You have everybody in the community that you can share things with. You can ask questions. You can get more information from. You know, the master gardeners are there. That's great. You guys can help guide them. But sometimes, you know, you always you hear more about this in the livestock communities where the people go, the farmers all get together, and they learn as much from each other as they do from their instructors, because a lot of times the instructors have done things one way for a long period of time. Well, maybe, like you're talking about, somebody's trying something different over here and say, hey, I used this in my garden and it really worked out well. You may want to try that. And that's really what the success of the community garden is all about, isn't it?
Yes. The biggest thing of it is when you start beginning gardening is have a soil test. Mm-hmm. Which is more valuable in doing it in the fall than you know exactly what you've got nutrients in your soil. Some people, I am more edged to tilling. I think Stephanie is more edged to
No-till?
no-till.
I've tried the no-till. I'm gonna just no comment on that. Really, I haven't done it enough to really know. But I too would always have tilled my garden, and actually we got one of those donated too, a nice tiller for those in bed gardens. So
Right.
yeah.
But the deal of it is there's several different deals. Kate Kimmler, which is the horticulture for this area, which is out at St. Genevieve. Mm-hmm. There's some of her stuff that she grows, tills. There's some of it that she has never tilled. Mm-hmm. But you've also got to learn one thing of it is, by the same token, you've got to get air under the ground. You've got to make sure the microbes that's active under there, and you've also got livestock down there, such as worms and that. Mm-hmm. One thing that here in Dent County we hate, but they are
besides the rocks.
Well, no, Dent County has no soil; it's all rocks.
That's what I mean.
But by the same token, we've got the moles. There's stuff that you can get rid of, but the moles gets under the ground, breaks it up enough for the oxygen to get into the soil.
Mm-hmm. There's when let's I guess when I'm trying to get back to the community garden behind the Methodist Church. We talk about a community effort to get this done with Extension, master gardeners, the people that do it all. But also I wanted to thank the Methodist Church for their great contribution to this and getting it started. We've had a lot of people work on those gardens over the past years. So all this history of the community garden should not go to waste, because it's been a lot of people with a lot of effort for the past we're talking about almost 15 years now, that have kept that community garden going. Well, without them, there was times that, they fall on hard times. Everything does. But it's good to have people step up like you guys to make those things happen, because community garden is should be a treasured gold mine for our community, because there's a lot of communities that don't have anything like this.
Right. Especially, let's just take it back a few hundred years back. World War One, World War Two. They had victory gardens all over in their yards, so forth. When we had the pandemic, I call this one out here a victory garden. That was their freedom to come back out. They can breathe fresh air, being out in the sun, and able to grow something.
So, and to me, gardening, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but even if you're on food stamps, and let's say you wanted to grow a particular type of broccoli, I'm just making things up, you can go to Walmart with your food stamps and buy your your broccoli seeds. That many people don't realize that about the food stamp program. That was started back in the 70s, I believe it was, or the 60s, because even back then they understood. Excuse me, Charlie.
70.
Back in the 70s, even back then they understood you could grow more for the dollar than you could go to a grocery store and buy it. And as my aunt used to always tell me, at least you know where your food comes from and how it was treated, pun intended, or not treated. So you can go there. That is one other thing, is we don't use a lot of herbicides in the garden. We shy away from that, but contact us, if you want a plot. The first plot's free. And we're also looking for volunteers to help when we put the rest of these beds together. When we get some dirt and have to fill those raised beds, we're going to need some help, okay? Because I just found out Charlie's younger than me, but he's up there too in age. So come out and help out and enjoy.
When again, we go right back to being a community garden, getting the community involved with the volunteerism, but also when we start talking about the great work that's done with these people. When you look at the amount of food, as Tom's mentioning, you get a packet of seeds, you can grow a lot of food, and then you can can that food. And one of the nice things about our community garden is, with the extension's help, is you have and master gardeners, is you have a lot of different, I'll say, classes that you can actually teach people some different things, some better ways of doing this. You brought up canning earlier. Canning used to be I would say, an everyday kind of thing. Now it's become kind of more of an art, if you can, because a lot of people don't do it. They just go buy their own things. But getting back to what Tom was saying, I remember my dad years ago telling me, he goes, I can raise my own tomatoes a lot cheaper than I can buy them. So he would get some just either basically bare root seeds that have just germinated, or he would go get, depending upon the time of the season, how many tomatoes he really wanted to have, a little bit taller plants. He'd plant them, and I tell you what, and the thing that I loved about my father the most, he watched those daily, made sure they got enough water, make sure no critters were getting in there. And then when he got those tomatoes, and then I just always remember Guy Clark's song called "Homegrown Tomatoes." What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? That was my father's old adage, because he grew them himself. The taste was better, everything was better. He watched them. He knew when they were ripe. He pulled them off when they were ripe, and he ate them when they were ripe. And that's the very thing you can do with your own at your own plot, at your community garden. You can grow your lettuce. You can grow your salad right there, and in one whack, just be ready to go and have a full meal for a fraction of the cost it would be to go buy it out at Walmart or Country Mart or any other grocery store.
Yes, and also growing them yourself, speaking of tomatoes, if you wanted to make fried green tomatoes, I challenge you to go to Walmart or Country Mart and try and find green tomatoes. When you grow them, you got them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things you don't see too much around anymore. But I was just using it as an instance, because there's all kinds of different vegetables people can grow, and the community garden does not tell you what you have to grow. And I think that's the neat thing. You can grow whatever you want that best suits maybe your own talents, but also your own needs, maybe for your family.
The only thing that I have we have one restrictions on is like growing pumpkins at vines that are vine plants, like watermelons. that
soak up
we-
a lot of water.
No.
Because of the space.
That
Yeah.
does not have the
Yeah.
space.
You end up in other people's
You will.
ways,
That is-
in other people's
That
beds.
is one other thing that we have restricted on it, but
Totally
there-
understandable too.
right. And there is some cucumbers that you can get now in bush form, which you can do that. Tom, last time we had talked about this for years, pole beans, and I'd like to set up a little project out there with that too. But the pole beans, I run for years run a cattle panel,
Okay.
and the road down through there.
And you can do the same thing with cucumbers,
Right.
but I know I don't know, watermelon and pumpkins would
No,
be really
no,
hard
no,
to train up
they-
there.
Yeah,
I don't think that would work out.
They
but,
go where they
but
want.
there is I got a new deal the other day, or I get it through the email, that they run it on a trellis, and it runs up above. Now the cucumbers are growing underneath.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
Yeah, for that, basically, you get 4 T-posts, separate them about, well, in this case, it would have to be 4 foot wide.
Right.
Cattle panel, make a big hoop out of it, and they'll crawl all over that hoop, and they just hang there. You just pick them.
The
Wow.
pole beans be about the same way too?
Pole beans the same.
Yeah, pole beans.
That would be fun to crawl under for a kid.
You see what you can learn by these master gardeners, and
See the po-
but this is why we have that garden out there. You know, I never would have thought of that. You know, I never got raised gardening that way, which is why I wouldn't have thought of that. That's why new ideas are always welcome, and that's why the community garden is what it is today, because people have new ideas and they're willing to share them with other people for success.
Well, as Stephanie knows, I've been in gardening for years. My daughter's probably thought I've had to go to the garden.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've also driven by your place. He has a very nice looking garden. Lots of stuff out there.
But the biggest things that I always got kid about, you got any watermelon? No. Well, I'm gonna go out there and see. Well, if you step in the bear trap, I don't want to hear anything down there about you getting stepped in the bear trap. But anyway, by the same token, let's change subject. Let's go
Sure.
what we're going to have on education this
That,
year.
and I was
the
just going to
seminar.
bring that. Okay.
We're going to try to open up the garden on March the 23rd. Kate Kimmler is going to come in, or Kate, I call her Kate Kimmler. Her name's Kate, I think, I can't remember.
Katie Kamler. Katie
Kamler.
Kamler.
No. It's my Kate.
Oh, yours.
Oh, you're
okay.
Oh, she's one of the master gardeners with our group.
Oh, all right.
And
Okay.
I can't.
Is that Katie Ann?
Katie Ann.
Yeah.
Lives out here east of Salem. But she's going to do a beginning of garden and survivor garden class on that. And
And that will be at the
Interesting.
community
they
garden.
will be all at the community gardens
Okay.
this year. But the only year we don't have is we're leaving August open. That's the state fair. Since I have to be at the state fair this year, you can ask me about that later. But anyway, in April I'm coming back with companion planting.
Okay.
I've got with Kate Sullivan, which does a great deal. She's got one of my books. It's called Plant Pardoning. It is a book brought out by Jessica Wallace.
Okay.
It's very good. There's things that you would put out in the garden that you would not believe that takes care of bugs, insects,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and weeds.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to show her, but teaching her is how to try to get rid of the weeds without using herbicides. Tom was with me in a class being with the herbicide, the spraying.
Yeah, you mean when you're using your mulch and things like that?
No. I'm talking about that you took
Oh,
the
the herbicide class, yes.
herbicides
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, and FYI, I took the herbicide class strictly for educational purposes. I really don't like using herbicides. I've gone away from them. I just soon spend an hour out there crushing bees, or not bees, but bugs, to get rid of them versus spraying. But to have the knowledge of what they're about, how they work, how they don't work, you can't beat it. And this class is totally for free, offered through Extension, I believe.
Right, it's offered through Extension. I don't know where the next class is. We had a private class through MU up here, but the last one was done in Marys County, and that was at Vienna, was at February the 8th.
Yeah, and also, all these classes that Charlie's talking about, they're open to everyone. You do not have to be a participant in the community garden to sit in on these classes. They're open to everyone.
Maybe it's worthwhile, and then this is way that we have got people, well, is there a spot open for me? We've had people to come up and do that. Now, Kate Kimler is going to be over here with me. St. Genevieve Extension out of St. Genevieve County. She's going to bring on a presentation that I asked her to bring on, is the right place for the right plant, which I had took a course back in 18, and I have not ever seen it out again.
Wow.
That is one thing, is about planting something for the right place for it, whether if it's a tree or you're gardening or ornamental grasses, anything like that, put it in the right place. In the Missouri weather.
Gosh. Makes that difficult.
Okay, yeah, I know that, but Missouri weather, we get everything in the state of Missouri,
Sure.
especially in this area between almost Eminence all the way above Columbia. Our weather is like what you would not believe. We get the snow, we get
It's
the
a
heavy
crapshoot,
rain.
Charlie. You don't know what it's
Well,
going to be.
No,
Yeah.
but well, it's just like I say, stay 24. They always told me stay 24 hours. You're in Missouri, the weather will change.
Sure will.
But anyway, they were talking about the winds and so forth. And but anyway, she's going to do that. See where I'm at. June. Tom is going to bring on pollinators and the bees.
Yes. Oh, you want me to say more?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Don't expand on
Well,
it. Tom.
yeah, well, people don't realize it, but a lot of plants, they will self-pollinate. Other plants rely on the wind, insects, to help pollinate them. One thing that I learned a couple of years ago, honeybees cannot pollinate tomato plants. You need a heavier insect like a bumblebee to help pollinate a tomato plant.
Interesting.
And something else I just learned this year, tomatillos, which are in the tomato family, they don't self-pollinate themselves. They need other tomatillo plants around them to help pollinate via insects in the wind.
That's what your companion planting will be about.
I see. Okay.
Okay. And then, like I said, something that I've been brought on is July the 11th. Pam Bierman is going to bring that on for me. I had Sissy Grady, which is part of my extension out of Rolla over there, but she has to step down because her daughter is going to college, and so she has to be out that week. But we're going to have cut flowers, and we are going to put, Pam and I and Katie are going to put a row of different cutting flowers out into the garden itself, and
Okay.
we're going to use that out there for that purpose.
Okay.
And
That'd be interesting.
and
Using it to attract the pollinators, is that
that
what
will
you're?
be also.
Yeah.
Okay,
It will be
cool.
also. Saving seeds. Pam's going to bring that on. She's been doing that.
That's, yeah.
Ah, you can get
And then Tom's going to also going to bring another course on.
have a little seed saver exchange then, maybe.
Ooh, there's an idea.
Good possibility.
Yeah, thank you.
Whoa.
Yeah, she
Listen to
put it out.
this.
But Tom's
Somebody
gonna
came
bring-
by the office the other day wanting to do a seed share thing, and we were like, I don't know, we don't really do that here. I've heard of libraries having that available.
They do have that. At,
Ours doesn't at this point, but
Okay.
not that they won't in the future, maybe. But anyway,
I think the Rolla Library over there had started a program with that. Tom's going to bring on garlic bulbs.
Yes, that'll be this fall. Garlic is planted in October. And so in the case of the community garden, we're going to have to find a place that will not get tilled this winter because we'll destroy the garlic crop.
Yeah.
But
Right.
this fall we'll be showing you how to plant garlic.
Nice.
Very good.
And in October, October the 19th, we'll close the garden out. And a big thing that I am especially on is, and I think if Steffi's been out there, is my cereal rye.
Okay.
It is a cover crop. It gives the ground its protein, its nitrogen. It retains the moisture in the ground. It gives the microbes a chance to feed off of. You can plow it under, give it 14 days, you plow it under, it brings up more nitrogen. Or you can use the cereal rye. You can cut strips into the ground and use it as for a walking path as a weed inhibitor.
I did not know that.
And the new one that I've been playing with, this year I played with, is Australian field peas. They just look like little peas, but they grow up. They're good. They're the same thing, but they're a little bit more for the loom. They will go deeper into the ground and break those micro that soil up a little bit more.
Okay.
And that it will be what we were trying to bring on this year.
Well, I mean, that's a
But
quite a
everybody,
diverse selection of different things.
right? That's what we try to do. But everybody is welcome. You don't have to have a garden out there. Anybody, there's no charge to it. Everything will start at 6 o'clock except for the 23rd of March and October, I believe 19th will be during on a Saturday because
Time of the
the
year.
daylight, because of the daylight, and
Yeah.
we'll teach you how to put the cereal rye down. And it is, but I am very purposely sold on trying to put in a garden as with the cover crop for the fall of the year.
Sounds like a winning proposition.
It is.
Very good. So, one other thing I want to touch on, because we are talking with a couple master gardeners here, is how does somebody go about becoming a master gardener, Charlie? I mean, I know you're kind of president of the Master Gardeners of Missouri now. So, what steps did they have to take, or is there courses they have to take, or is there experience they have to do? And then, once they become a master gardener, how do they maintain that? Can you explain that, please?
Yeah. Right now, the classes are going on. For the spring classes are going on. For the Master Gardeners, a course at the MU Extension, and you can go online and pick it up. The next classes will be in the fall.
Okay.
We would appreciate if anybody would like that. They can get a hold of me. I'll give you my number. It's 573-368-9902. As Stan said, I am the state president of the Missouri Master Gardeners. I was elected this last fall. The last president we had resigned, went worked for the Missouri Extension. You've got your classes. There's 16 chapters in the core book.
Okay.
There's 16 chapters. You have to go through every one of those and pass to become a master gardener. When you do that, you come out. You need to find a chapter. You are not a master gardener unless you come to a chapter, like Rolla or whatever area you live in. This area here is Rolla. When I was vice president of Rolla's chapter, I took on for Dead County, Phelps County, Marys County, Crawford County, Eastern Texas, Eastern Pulaski County, and brought them in so we would have a larger number.
Sure.
But
Which
then
makes sense.
But when after you do that, you try to find you a chapter. Then, the first year, you have to put 30 hours of volunteer time in, and 6 hours of additional education.
Okay.
But the class right now, I think this year was cost of $200. That's, I think, quite a bit more than I paid when I started out. But the Master Gardener's been going for over, like I said, over 50 years.
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
Yeah. But there's, like I said, this is not for the, if you want to get into it, and I plead with you people, please try to get into it. There's a lot of stuff that we do. Like I've done, we do the gardening, we do the horticulture. I have brought on classes from over at Phelps County, or even our county, the canning, which, the safety of it. People, gets afraid of, well, I can't do that or that. You have to know what you're doing, and we teach classes on that. I've not got set up this year. I don't know if I'll ever get one set up until I can get a specialist in that. And the specialist we had went to towards St. Louis. So and she's out of the region, so I cannot get her anymore. But there is a deal. If you want to be part of it, you can get a hold of me. I'll be glad to talk to you about it.
Right. All right. Well, I mean, it's master gardeners. I mean, it's I won't say a rare breed because, but you have to really be dedicated to be a master gardener. It's not something you do by in passing. You just don't say, yeah, I want to be a master gardener, and then you just, I have the title, so I'm done. No, because as you mentioned, 30 hours of community service, 6 hours of continuing education. It's not something you just do just to do. You do to learn, you educate, and to share. And I think that's the biggest thing about master gardeners I don't think people really understand. There's a lot of education that goes into becoming a master gardener. And you learn a lot about so many different diverse things that it's not just like my central core is vegetables. I don't want to learn about anything else. And that's not the way it works. You have to learn about everything. So, it really is a neat thing. I mean, I've never been that much of a gardener to where I would consider myself to be a master gardener because I don't think I would be very good at it. But I know some people who have a green thumb. I have a brown thumb. Everything dies that I touch for the most part. But if you have a green thumb and you really like playing, I say playing, because it's more of a joy once you really start to do it. If you like playing in the dirt, growing things, seeing how things grow, experimenting a little bit and trying to find new ideas, I think it would be a great thing for somebody out there who would love to become a master gardener to get in touch with Charlie and find out more about becoming a master gardener. We could use more in our area. There's no doubt about it.
You was talking about that. There's been courses that I have taken, and I continue my education. I've been asked, why are you still taking? I'm going to keep an open mind. We had a class a few years ago called Clean Streams. What I really learned was people put on fertilizer or stuff on the yard or on the garden. Well, where does that go? If it doesn't take it into the soil, it washes out into the streams,
the creeks.
And you need to read what the instruction says, how much area that it will cover, and how to cut it down. There's several things that MU brings on, Master Gardener program brings on. But that sold me on the Master Gardeners. I had as I carried mail for over 30 some years, I had a Master Gardener ask me from a Missouri Master Gardener, asked me a question, which was a simple question, and that right then and there says, no, I'm going to get my certification. So
Okay,
that's
very good.
what I did. So.
And you learn new things every day from other master gardeners that you're in conversation
And
with.
I think that's the reason for that 6 hours of continuing education is because our knowledge on the how-tos and the best practices, it's evolving all the time. We learn new things, new techniques, or there are these new products that come out all the time. And, so we learn as we go along, and sometimes the hard way, with herbicides and things like that, at one time we thought, well, that was all safe. And not that some might not be, I don't know, but we just know that really to proceed with caution with some things. And I think that continuing, that's why there's the continuing education, and then obviously they want you to be utilizing the, you went through the program, you need to be utilizing that in some way, so that 30 hours of community service.
Yeah, and then after you get through with your 30 hours, the next year you roll back to 20. Just like Tom, I had one of the classes out there, composting.
Oh, jeez.
And
Tom's going to tell this story.
yeah, but Tom did not realize about the straw and the manure out here. I told him that he was going to go out here to the sale barn and get some. And I told him, I said, you need to test, and then I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I did not realize that in the case of manure, if you're getting your manure from cows or critters, goats, sheep, whatever, who have ingested plants that have herbicides in them, those herbicides pass right through their gut, get deposited into that manure, then you go and gather that manure and you put it in your compost pile or directly into your garden, and you just doused your stuff, and I was totally dumbfounded because guilty, now there are ways of testing for it. Now, of course, one is to ask the person you're getting it from, what are you feeding your animals here? But it never occurred to me. Of all my years of gardening, it never occurred to me, and that was 2 years ago I learned this. And I won't tell you how old I am, but yeah.
But
Also, I wanted to mention that 30 hours and then that 20 hours. If you go through a class and then you never really use that, you lose so much. For me, I'm younger than both of these guys. We're not going to get into that either. But for
Much
me,
younger.
I lose things pretty quickly if I don't actually use it.
Right.
I went through a training on a specific curriculum a little over a year ago. It was just a one-day crash course thing. I hadn't used it in a year, and I could not even remember. It took me weeks to remember that I actually did have this day with this trainer, and I actually went through the training all over again, and then I started, as soon as I got back, started trying to find a place to go and a group to teach that to so that it would solidify it for me. So I think, too, that community service, it's bettering you and it's helping you to start utilizing that knowledge so you don't lose it, and then you can grow from there.
That's absolutely true. Use it or lose it. That really is true. And it comes with everything. But the neat thing about with the master gardeners and working with the extension is all the different experimentation, as Tom was bringing up before, the experimentation the extension does, and they come up with some new ideas, and then they present those to the master gardeners so you can then utilize it yourself, try it yourself to see if it works before you pass it on, because a lot of times you may find something the extension recommends. As Charlie has mentioned, the soils down here sometimes don't work very well with some of those extension ideas. It may not work in this area, but it might work fine up in northern Missouri. So sometimes it's regional, it's location. So many different things to learn about when you're trying to grow things that you may not even have any idea. Soil testing, obviously, as Charlie mentioned, number one, you need to find out what's in your soil before you grow anything.
Or not in your soil.
Or not in your soil. Because if you're looking for results to come from your first time, and maybe that might be why I never had a lot of success in gardening, is I never tested the soil. So you're trying to grow something that might be in the wrong soil, you're not getting the results. So then you're not happy with what you got, and then I'm not going to do this anymore because I can't get it to grow.
But when you, if let's say you get seeds, you're going to plant the seeds in order for a transplant. Your transplant soil is completely different. But let's say soil, you need to read on there what kind of soil that seed will take, what kind of it will develop in. Whether if it's, especially on certain watermelons, you have to have more of a sandy soil.
Sure.
Or not the rock soil.
We have a lot of rock soil here, but you know what I'm saying though is sometimes you have to do a little bit of investigation work on your own, because somebody may say a particular type of soil. If you don't know what that soil is, you need to find out what it is before you go and buy the seeds and try and say, I guess that's this kind of soil. It looks sandy to me. Well, that may not be the right type of mix, and you need to do a soil test to find out. It sounds like common sense, but I think a lot of people just think soil is soil, and they just let it go with that. It's not even close to being true.
Well, you take our soil. We got topsoil. Then you get a lot of places has kind of a what they call floamy. But then I don't think we have any floamy. I think we go from topsoil to hard pan to clay.
Yep.
Yep.
With a lot of clay.
Well, yeah.
You're not going to get a lot to grow in clay. Not much. Not some of this hard clay around here. It's like concrete.
Right.
And something else I just learned because I love asparagus. One of the ways to keep, at least I read this, I'm going to try it this year, keep weeds in check in your asparagus patch is the addition of salt. Because asparagus can deal with it, but other weeds cannot.
Well, that's true.
Yes. So
Salt is a.
I know.
Okay.
I know. That's
That's why
totally
he
runs
said he's
against.
gonna-
Yeah, it totally runs against the grain of logic. It totally does. But I'm going to give it a try.
Well, that's the reason why when I
To be
talked-
continued.
that's one of the reasons why I told you about the weeds and so forth. Until you get the plant up till the weeds cannot get any sunlight. I use what they call a horticulture vinegar,
Okay.
and I'll tell you, I don't know if you've ever opened one of those up. It will clean your sinuses out really good.
I bet it will.
Because your regular white vinegar is maybe 2 to 3% of
5%?
Huh?
5%?
I think
isn't
it's
it?
at-
5%?
at max.
Yeah, up to 5. But some of it, like I said, this is 20% and 30%.
Ooh.
That'll get your attention.
And,
That's acid.
I mix it with a little bit of water and Dawn soap.
Okay.
And just like my garden, I have fought for years and years and years of morning glory. They're volunteered,
Mm-hmm.
and what I learned was I can spray them when they start coming up. I can spray them. It won't hurt the garden. It's not it's this horticulture vinegar is used in commercial
Applications. yeah.
applications in commercial
Gardens, you know.
not
Well.
gardens, but where you buy your plants and
Sure.
so forth. Anyway, and I'm at
Greenhouses.
greenhouses. There you go. I couldn't
Okay,
think of green,
sorry.
but yeah, the greenhouses because they use it around their stuff because don't spray it onto that plant because it will dry it up quickly. But it does work in that way. I can get stuff to come up and get the sun past. Because before I done it, I had a regular bulb onion patch. Every day I would go out there and like I had just cleaned this out. Overnight they come.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I learned this from Dr. Trainline. He had talked to me about this, and I tried it. It works. It really works. It doesn't completely kill it, but it sets it back enough that
Well, that's the idea, though, is prohibit it from trying to get really a
Start.
good hard grip in there. Because once you get it in there, it's hard to get out. Anyway, we really appreciate our friends coming in, talking a little bit about our community garden, our master gardening program, and different things of that nature, and things you can do. The different classes will be coming up this summer. Actually getting started this spring. I say summer. March is right around the corner. That's a month away. So start thinking about that. But if you'd be interested in having a plot out at our community garden, it's again behind the Methodist Church. It's back in the southeast corner. If you'd be interested in having a plot or want one, the first one is free. Just get in touch with Charlie. You want to give me your number again, Charlie?
573-368-9902.
And of course, you're more than welcome to get in touch with him. And of course, once you get out there, if you've never been out by the community garden, go out there and take a look. I mean, you'll see the different areas that they have roped off, but you can see the different plots that are out there, and even take a look at the new ones out there, those new raised bed plots that you're in the process of working on. If you'd be interested in becoming a part of the program out there, though, you got three people right here that can be more than happy to help you with your process. If you're looking for something in particular, you can call the extension 729-3196. And if Stephanie doesn't know, she can find out. There's people up
Right.
there all the time that have
Janet's really good up front.
Absolutely.
She's good at finding out those things too. Yep.
You know, and then you've got the extension specialist like Kate Kamler over in St. Genevieve County, like you talk about. She comes and does some programs with us. Actually, mostly phones them in unless she happens to be in town. But you get a diverse, different idea of what you can grow, what you can do. You can get to talk to neighbors, meet some new friends, and maybe help yourself out to a real nice, fresh meal as well. A great thing to have. Obviously, we want more people to be a part of it. But if you'd like to help, volunteer, become a little bit of a novice, maybe like I am in gardening, and maybe you want to learn more than just being a novice, no time's a bad time to get started.
You're welcome. Come on, because we don't get paid. We do not get a dime's worth of money. This is all volunteer. Just like I reported in today to Manga, my hours between the community garden and the Missouri Master Gardeners, I've got almost right now, and this is not even February's over, I've got a little over 100 hours of service time.
Yeah. That's why you're president.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Anyway, Charlie Graham, thank you for coming in and spending some time with us, president of the Master Gardeners of the state of Missouri. Congratulations on that post. Tom Haynes, Stephanie Wofford. We appreciate all you guys coming in and spending some time with us on KSMO and getting us up to date on our community garden. Guys, always appreciate it. And maybe in the middle of the summer, we'll come back and we'll do a follow-up, see how things are going. It would be a good idea to let people know what's going on at our community garden, especially when we have some of these programs that if you're interested in, I'm sure Charlie will have them posted. If not, we'll have them, you'll get them to us, and we'll get it out there as well. Don't miss out on those. They're absolutely free, and you do not have to have a garden or a plot out at the community garden to attend. Anybody's welcome.
You might be able to learn something. I mean, there's always.
That's what the idea is, right?
Open your mind and you'll learn something. I mean, you might find something, and I might find something out that's something new. That's what I've always.
That's what it's all about, guys.
You know, when I used to work for the Postal Service, I said, expect the unexpected. So there we go.
I'm not even going to go there on that one. But anyway, Charlie, I always appreciate you guys coming in. Tom, Stephanie, thanks for coming in on KSMO and our spotlight on our Master Gardeners and our Salem Community Garden. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you coming in. Here at KSMO.